Lindsay.
Good morning. My name is Cassandra Milone, and I am the owner of Still Within Collaborative Wellness Center here in Norwell. And I wanted to jump on and invite my friend Amy Yonick to share a little bit about her workshop that she's going to be hosting here, called the Wingtering Workshop.
Thank you, Cassandra. Yes, my name is Amy Yonick. I am a certified end-of-life coach, a death doula, and an end-of-life educator. And the Wingtering Workshop is an opportunity for you to slow down, take advantage of that radical act of rest and self-care. We'll be doing this in the Still Within beautiful, warm, inviting environment. There's a cozy fireplace. The energy is just amazing, but the Wingtering Workshop is an opportunity to take a nod from nature and just slow yourself down, look within, and we're actually going to do a lot of reflecting through the lens of your own mortality. Now, don't be afraid, okay? Talking about the end of life brings up so much beauty and presence for the life that you're living right now. We're all heading in that direction. So if we just take some time to reflect and look at what's important to us as we navigate our lives and move closer to the end of it, because we never know when that last day is going to be. Hopefully it's a long way away, but we never know. So if we plan for it now, we can have a sense of peace and comfort when we finally get to that last chapter. So the Wingtering Workshop is a chance to reflect, go within, slow down, hibernate a little bit, and just learn a little bit about yourself.
I love that so much because this time of year is so fast-paced with the holidays and, the hustle and bustle. So I think it's really important to remember that we need to take time to slow down and take time for ourselves. And we give throughout this whole season. So to be able to kind of come to a place of pause and ask yourself some deep questions can be really powerful and potent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hope you'll join us.
Yes, please come down. Do you want to share the date?
Yes, it starts January 25th. It's Saturday mornings from 10 to 12, 6 weeks in a row. And we're going to do this journey together. It's going to be a safe environment. We're going to learn, we're going to grow, we're going to reflect, and we're going to do this through the lens of our mortality. And I promise you, it's not as scary as you might think it would be.
Do you want to maybe talk about who the type of person would be that would maybe be interested in taking this course?
Yeah, so I think if you're in a place where there's transition in your life, especially where we've just entered a new year, and you want to get really clear about your priorities, about what matters most to you, the things that you're doing that are in alignment with those priorities. If they're a little off kilter and you're not quite sure how to get back on track, this is a great opportunity for you to really get clear about what's most important in your life. We look at our spiritual lives and our physical bodies and our relationships. We look at our legacy, like how do you want to be remembered in the hearts and minds of the people that you love and that you will eventually leave behind. So I also invite you, if you are thinking, why would I want to think about my mortality? This workshop's for you. Like, I really want to invite you to be fearless. And that will help. It's like a gremlin, right? When you shine the light on the gremlins, they lose their power. When you shine a light on a topic that's very fear-inducing, it helps to release some of the fear, some of the anxiety, and helps you to really get clear about that which you are afraid of and answer some questions about what's holding you back from having that conversation, even in the first place. So yeah, and if you're curious, I'd say this would be.
So you don't have to actively be dying.
No.
You can be.
No. Hey,
You can be.
I might be actively dying.
Well, we all
I don't know.
right? We just don't know
yes.
when that time's going to be.
Exactly.
So.
And it doesn't mean that, just because you either have a diagnosis or you don't have a diagnosis, that's not a qualifier for this work. The qualifier for this work is you're a breathing, living human being, and you will die one day.
I always say, every soul on this planet is going to eventually die. It's just a matter of when, and we don't ever know. So we're breaking the taboo-ness, right? The taboo-ness of just talking about I would say, let's get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. And the reality is that we want to normalize this conversation around death and dying. And so it's not so scary, right? Removing the fear out of what it is or what it could be, and really talking about the nitty-gritty. And also, I think it's amazing because it allows the person who is potentially dying, whether it's now or decades from now, to really have the ability to gain some control over what they want. Now, it might shift, but I think it's amazing to be able to recognize that something that we inevitably have no control over when it's going to happen, but we're also able to kind of, if we take the time to have these conversations, we do take a little bit of control back. What is it that I want it to look like? Who do I want by my side?
Exactly. So that makes me think about. The workshop is split up into 5 different areas. One of them is your physical body and your physical environment. So we look a lot at our relationship with our physical bodies, but we also look at, towards the end of your life, what kind of physical environment do you want to be in? Like, do you want to absolutely, no matter what, be at home? And who do you want to be near you? And the little touches, like you said, like really looking at what your end of life feels like, all your senses. Like, do you want your family just going on their business in the background? Do you want silence? Do you want a specific playlist? That's one of the things that we do, is I invite you to make a playlist for the end of life. Do you want lotion on your hands? Do you want cozy blankets? Have your dog on the bed. Have your cat on the bed. Who do you want next to you holding your hand? Who do you not want next to you holding your hand? Like, these are things that we're going to talk about. But we're also going to talk about the importance, like this whole wintering idea, the importance of slowing yourself down and getting very clear about your priorities, what you personally need to express yourself authentically, to share with your loved ones what's really important to you. And you can't do that until you identify what those values and priorities are for yourself first. So this is self-exploration. This is self-care, like radical self-care. And we're giving you permission to do that. And this is your invitation to do it with us.
And it sounds like it would be something that could potentially get a little raw, right? We're going to move through the emotions, the highs, the lows, everything in between. And I think it sounds like by moving through all of those emotions, peels back the layers to, again, normalize it a little bit, recognize that it doesn't have to be so scary.
And you're braver than you think.
Yeah.
I really believe that. Like, anybody that has taken this workshop with me, on the other side, they usually say, and I invite you to go look at my Google reviews, because they say this wasn't anything like what I expected, and it wasn't as scary as I thought, and I got so much value out of it, and I understand myself better now, and I understand death a little bit better now, and it's not as scary.
I think that's beautiful. I'm so excited to have Amy in this space. I recently went through my end-of-life doula training as well, and we are new friends, and I am so thrilled to have an immersive workshop, because I think that it is a really potent, powerful thing to face, and it does truly help you move forward and live for the moment, to live freely in the current time. It is amazing how kind of navigating all of this stickiness, it makes you live more freely. I think definitely. It's amazing.
And more on purpose.
Yeah.
And the small stuff just falls away, what is it? Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot after this workshop, is like the small stuff just doesn't
what matters
matter.
most, right?
It's what matters most.
And it's true. And I'm a breast cancer survivor, which is what led me to this work. And I encourage people who are, maybe potentially facing some sort of diagnosis, because again, it takes back control and it gives you this sense of power to recognize, like, what am I scared of? What is it that I'm scared of? I know for me, my story was not that I was scared of dying, but it was the fear of my story ending too early. And by moving through all of these questions that I learned in my training, it was so raw, and I left, shifted, changed, and really looking at what matters most, which has been part of my healing journey through this whole cancer journey. So
I think when you have a diagnosis, you can't help but start looking at your life through your mortality. When you don't have a diagnosis, it's a gift to be able to sit and look at your life through your mortality when you're not facing the diagnosis. You're healthy, and you do this by choice. You make a decision that you're going to do that work because you talk to anybody with any kind of diagnosis that is threatening the longevity of their life, and they will tell you that diagnosis gave them a new perspective on life. So to be able to do that without having a diagnosis is a gift. And I think we all need to do that kind of work, because if we're floating through life thinking, oh, that day is way far away from now, and then crisis occurs, you're too emotional to be able to have a clear head and think of all the important decisions that you need to make. Do it now, when you do have the time to consider what matters most to you, and how you want to be taken care of at the end of your life, and how you want your family to be taken care of if you're not here. Like, just considering all those things helps to check a lot of boxes.
And this course is going to give you kind of like a plan as far as definitely. The reality of what you do face if and when you are actively dying. Because there's a lot of things I know for myself. We don't even realize how much there is to unpack as you're kind of approaching end of life. And the reality is that oftentimes you get faced with your end of life, and everything comes rushing towards you, like, oh my God, holy crap, there's a lot to do, there's a lot to handle. And you want your family and your loved ones to be with you in that time, and you don't want to be worrying about all that stuff. So if you have a floor plan, it sets the tone where a lot of that, the hard stuff is done. You can just be present. Yeah.
And part of these 5 areas that we discuss are the practical decisions that need to be made. There's the emotional things, there's the spiritual things, there's the practical things. So I'm going to help you to get your affairs in order. So it's not, it's not all deep reflection. There are some practical things that you'll walk away completing, but most of it is a deep dive into your soul. And I think doing that is the best thing we can do for ourselves. It's a way to learn who we are, what we want, why we're here.
And any age is welcome?
Yes, any adult age. Yeah.
What is it that you say? If you have a driver's license?
Oh yeah, if you have a driver's license and a credit card, you're old enough to talk about your end of life wishes. Yes.
I love it.
Yes. And one other thing is, when you think about these hard conversations, if you talk about, I know a lot of people think if I talk about death and dying, it's going to hasten my death. It's an awkward thing to think about. It's like a superstition. But if you talk about sex, you're not going to get pregnant. If you talk about death and dying, it's not going to hasten your death. It's only going to educate you and give you more information, so that, again, it reduces the stress, it reduces the anxiety, and it reduces the fear. So join us.
Yes, we hope you
join
can
us.
come.
There's only a few spots available. We want to keep it intimate. We want to make sure that we have enough room to spread out for some meditation and some journaling exercises, some visualizations, and it's going to be a wonderful, inviting, warm journey.
Well, I'm so thrilled to have you, and we really hope that you can jump on board with Amy. And again, the starting date is January 25th, a Saturday morning. So have a great afternoon, and we hope to see you at the workshop. Thank you.